Hello, and welcome to another episode of Movie Spoiler Alerts. Today we're going to do another podcast, and today we're talking about Kingsman, The Secret Service, a film from 2014. And first we're going to introduce the panel, and then do a quick little update, and then we'll jump right back into the movie. So first and foremost, I'm Ben, the host of Movie Spoiler Alerts, and we're just going to go around the table, and we'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Zach. I'm Ben's cousin. And just to clarify, is it Kingsman or Kingsman? I think it's Kingsman, right?
I think it's men, but it's spelled man. I think it's a British thing.
Okay.
So
just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Zach, anyways. Thanks for having me.
I'm Alex, co-host of Movie Spoiler Alerts.
I'm Dillon.
So, I know it's been almost a year since I've done a podcast. I graduated college after being in college for 7 years, and I moved to a new place, so that's why this looks a lot different than my old gross bedroom. And I got my, big boy job now, and now I'm living with my co-host, as well as our two dogs who may make their appearance on this podcast, barking in the background. And we're trying a new format for doing the podcast, so hopefully this works well. I probably still will be doing some via Skype conversations with Jeremiah and Mark for those of you that enjoy those, as well as I'm going to try to start doing a few more me with the camera in an appropriate manner. Just doing some quick conversations about... I thought that was a funny joke. Doing just some quick discussions that really don't need to get a big panel going. So, we just finished watching Kingsman, so we're going to go over the plot, and, we'll go through the plot, and as you guys feel fit, if you want to comment or point out something that you notice, feel free to jump in, and then we'll start breaking down the film as a whole. So, the film opens in the Middle East in 1997, where we see a group of secret agents holding some guy and they're interrogating him. And we see that an agent ends up sacrificing himself and ends up dying. And so a agent who's also part of the same squad named Harry Hart, who's also known as Galahad. All of the agents are codenamed after the Knights of the Round Table, as Dillon pointed out. I didn't notice that.
I find it ironic, first and foremost, that we are sitting at a square table talking about Knights of a Round Table.
Yeah. So it's nothing alike. It's
not even at all.
So anyway, so we see this agent who was with this guy who sacrificed himself by literally jumping on top of a grenade. He goes to the widowed wife and gives her this medal that essentially it has a phone number on the back that they say, hey, if you call this phone number, we'll make sure we help you at a time of need. And she's pretty distraught, so she just kind of brushes it off, and they end up giving it to the son, who's maybe like 2 or 3 at the time, and his name is Gary, but he throughout the film goes by Eggsy, which I think we all have comments on that name, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So, the film transitions, it's 17 years later, and now we're in some mountain ridge, some cabin, and apparently some professor has been kidnapped.
I think it was Argentina.
Was that where it was?
They were in some mountain range in Argentina.
Okay, I think that was right.
Cool.
So this professor's been kidnapped, and he's been, at the time... When it starts, you don't know who kidnapped him, and one of these other secret agents appears, and the secret agent dispatches all of the guards who are guarding this professor who's been kidnapped until this one girl comes out, and her name was Gazelle, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Gazelle.
So Gazelle is, with any henchman of a villain in these types of films, they always have to have some Shtick. There we go. That's the word.
Yeah.
And her shtick is she doesn't have anything below her legs. She's got prosthetics that are essentially like swords. And she ends up killing the secret agent by literally cutting him in half with an axe kick.
For you medical junkies out there.
Exactly.
Transtibial amputations bilaterally.
There you go. And that's the physical therapist,
just put my 2 cents
chiming in. So then so essentially what it is just the whole point of the scene is that the spy agency discovers that this guy has been kidnapped. However, when they go to investigate his kidnapping, he's back at college and he's working. So they're really confused because they send a secret agent to save this guy, but then the next day he's back where he should be. And so they're very confused by this whole thing, and it all seems to be related to this billionaire named, what was his name? Valentine. What was his? Valentine was his last name, and that's the only name they ever refer to him. Played by Samuel L. Jackson. And for some reason, this billionaire seems to be finding all these influential, rich people and trying to get them to come to his side, but we're not certain why. And so the film then transitions back to, now we're with the son, Eggsy, who his dad had died, and now he is kind of a ruffian, or hoodlum, or whatever the British term is. And, his mom is dating a pretty abusive guy, and he's in a pretty bad situation. So now he doesn't know really quite what to do. He ends up getting arrested, and while he's arrested, and he's facing possibly, 2-3 years in jail, he ends up using the medal that he was given 17 years ago to call this phone number, and instantly he's released from jail. And that's when Eggsy meets Harry again, now 17 years later, and through a convoluted process, Harry ends up getting Eggsy to try out to be part of the secret agency, and that's when he introduces him to what the secret agency is, which is called the Kingsman. And apparently it was a group of tailors that were very rich, and instead of just holding on to their money and doing nothing with it, they decided to form this independent secret agency that can do secret agent type stuff. They don't really go too in-depth what their exact goals, their mission statement is, but they just want to help the world. So Eggsy starts essentially the application process, which is him going through training. He's competing against other applicants, and, one by one, other people are eliminated. Everybody comes from a better background, and they're more educated, and they're more handsome, and they're more strong, but because Eggsy's the rough, tough, poor kid, he fights his way through, and eventually it gets towards the end of the film, or towards the end of the application process, and it's now down to 2 people. One is a girl named Roxy, and the other one is Eggsy. And so the film kind of pauses there, and while they're doing this whole, training montage, if you will, with Eggsy, they're showing what's going on with Valentine. And essentially what it's revealed is Valentine is recruiting all of these people to join his cause. And essentially what you find out is his cause is that he believes that the human race is a virus and that the Earth is the host. So essentially humans have infected the Earth. And the Earth is causing global warming in order to try to kill all of the human race. And so what Valentine believes is that if we eliminate a large portion of the human population, we'll stop harming the Earth, and by stop harming the Earth will stop trying to eliminate us. So from Valentine's perspective, he thinks he's saving the human race. To everyone else, it seems like he's trying to destroy the human race, because what Valentine's whole process is he has found some neurological wave, and essentially what it is like an audio file that's played off of your cell phone, which that's a little ridiculous, but essentially when people hear it, they go apeshit and they just try to murder each other. And that's all comes to a head in a scene where while Harry, the agent, who found Eggsy and met him as a kid, met him as an adult, Harry goes to a hate church in Kentucky, like one of these Westboro, I hate everybody because they're gay and blah, blah, blah. And he's inside this church, and this neurological code is released. And the way that Valentine releases it is he's released something that essentially allows him to have access to everyone's phones through a free SIM card he gave out. So he ends up releasing this code and releasing this neurological signal, and everyone in the church just goes crazy and murders everybody, which I guess we should pause there, because what did you guys think of that scene?
So including Harry, right?
Yeah, including Harry. So everybody in the church is killing each other, including Harry, who is a trained assassin. So, mayhem takes place. So what did you guys think of that scene?
Well, I think, you didn't really know at first that Harry was affected. You thought that it was just the people who had the phones. Mm-hmm. At least that's kind of what I gathered from it. It seemed like you wanted him to just be defending himself, but then he kept going and going and going and going. So it kind of became apparent that those signals from those phones were a lot stronger than you once thought.
See, and I've seen this film twice. I believe, Zach, it was your first time, and Dillon...
Second time.
Second time, and Alex...
Second time as well.
Okay.
The point that someone had pointed out was very comparable to John Wick, where just everyone's getting brutally murdered.
Stop.
Brutally murdered.
The only...
So, very good scene.
Yeah.
Probably, in my opinion, best scene from the movie, because when I thought about this movie, even before I seen it the second time, that was the first thing I thought of when I thought of the movie again, was, oh yeah, there's that church scene in it. It was that's the first thing that I thought of when I thought of the movie again, so.
And I thought that it was obvious he lost his mind, because the first thing he did was he shot the lady in the head.
Exactly.
Before they made a point that his umbrella was on stun. Like they zoomed in on the umbrella was on stun. He shot the other guy in the head with the stun umbrella. But now he just shoots this random lady in the head too. Well, before he proved he was violent, but not enough to kill someone.
Yeah, and that was something that because up to this point in the movie, you didn't totally know what this neurological code was going to do. You knew it did something, and they had mentioned something about aggression in the background. But that was the thing, was it wasn't until the scene is he's trying to leave the church, and essentially they're in the middle of the sermon, this big hate sermon, and he makes a comment to a woman as he's trying to leave, who won't let him leave, and she tries to stop him, and this whole scene breaks out when she's yelling at him, but she's, not being violent. He turns around, pulls out a gun, and just blows her away. And that's when the whole scene breaks out. So that's why for me, when I saw it the first time, it shocked me, because I was like, wait, what? Because I couldn't understand. I was like, wow, that was a big overreaction. But then when I realized everybody was joining in, I was like, oh.
Yeah, everyone started standing up when he was turning the thing up.
Well, if you saw, if you, when they were doing some of the briefings in the Kingsman office, they talked about different insurgent groups. So they kind of led into this idea. It seemed like there was something being tested on these more socially outcasted groups of people who are kind of frowned upon in society. And in our case, it's kind of those extremist church kind of societies that preach all these hate and whatnot. So it almost was tested on what they would deem to be a very disposable group of people. I'm quoting that because I don't believe that, but it's just it kind of came to a head once the
villain picked a group that he really didn't like and care about.
Exactly.
The first ones to go, he thought that's a good test group.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's just the kind of villain he was.
I mean, he was a very self-righteous villain in the sense that he found morality in what he was doing. He didn't recognize... He found that he was doing stuff in a very, Kantianism way. Like, he was doing it for the greater good. And that his ends justified his means, as opposed to thinking that, he wasn't doing it just because he's evil. Well, he is evil, but his morality is warped in the sense that he believed what he was doing was necessary, because he was eliminating a group of people that, in his view at the very least, was not a group that the society needed anyway. And, by making sure, this thing works, now he can, use it on a larger scale, and it justifies what he's doing because he thinks he's actually helping the human race in the end.
So, it's funny because he had his quirks of... They basically took Mike Tyson's lisp and put it into this character, and they gave him just the most obnoxious hats possible.
Did they ever explain that?
No, I never understood the Mike Tyson lisp,
but there was nothing.
Sometimes he had it, sometimes he didn't too.
Yeah, it wasn't consistent.
That was confusing.
I just felt like I was watching a music video every time I saw him in a scene.
What I feel like it is.
They had to make him quirky somewhat, they had to take down the
I don't know
evil factor.
Who produced this film?
Because they allude to it early on about him that he has an aversion to blood anyways. Yeah. In the very first scene when that spy gets disposed of, from Gazelle.
She starts putting all the body covers and everything.
Exactly. He's like, I don't want to see it. Yeah. So they try to mitigate his just sense of ruthlessness by making him human.
One thing I wonder, and there is a lot of this in the film hidden in there. So what I wonder is, because though this is through Fox, was made by Marv, which we're all making jokes about the production title. But Marv is actually a British company. So I'm wondering if it's a joke on such as James Bond. But James Bond, I believe, is made by MGM, which is an American studio. So we always, with a lot of our spy films, we always make the bad guy have a sophisticated, very posh British accent. Mm. So I wonder if it's almost, because there's a lot of, whether it's completely intentional or not, there's a lot of jokes in the movie that seem to be almost just slightly like Americans are stupid or Americans are dumb.
There's a couple of them.
And so what I'm wondering is if the lisp is almost like an attack at how we always give them a British accent, they're going to use an American and they're going to give him a lisp to make him a little bit more eccentric. Just like we try to make them more eccentric by always making them British with this big fancy, I'm smarter than you accent.
Well, it's funny, sorry, go for it.
They directly mention James Bond.
Yeah.
So it's right away what we think of as, British accent villain.
Yeah.
With the top hat and that. And even as a tat at one point, same thing. And the, he says to Giselle later on, he says, no, they're not, I can't handle blood, so I'm not the one who killed them.
Yeah.
They kill each other.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So it's like the whole, I didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I didn't make it, And it's funny because, having been to the UK, we always do the same accent for British people. Like, we have, one kind of go-to accent. Theirs of Americans is always a Southern accent.
Yeah.
I'm from America! They just, it's just funny. So maybe that's kind of portrayed in the movie
and
well.
I guess another element to build on that is, because now, not to delve into that, this whole movie is intended to just make fun of Americans. But another thing is there's a scene where before this church scene, while Harry's investigating what Valentine is actually doing, he goes to his house and they have a personal dinner together. And this big silver tray comes out, and you're expecting it to be, at first, because
surf and turf
rewatching the movie, I don't even remember what it was. So I was expecting it to be someone's head, and he was like, "Ha, I got you." Oh. But then you're like, okay, well, maybe it's some really fancy dinner. But then it's revealed it's McDonald's. And so, once again, it could be a slight saying to Americans, McDonald's is a fancy meal. Maybe that's reading too much into it, but I'm just noticing more and more the jokes about Americans that were in the film.
There's a couple at the end that I'll touch that I picked up on as well that I think are just, it kind of mocks the American stereotype, which, again, I think they did it in a subtle way. At no point did I feel offended or anything like that. It was just, it's, now that you bring that up, it is kind of funny that there are some slights against it.
I guess there's more than I thought about. So anyway, back to those specifically the church scene. I really liked the fight choreography in that scene, like Alex was saying, and it just was a very well done scene. It probably was the highlight of the film. I mean, if you're not going to actually watch the movie, if you're just going to do this summary, at the very least, try to find that scene, because that scene was very well done. I wish it was shot slightly different because I didn't like the changes in speed that they were doing with the timing, but...
You didn't like that?
Just how they did it, it wasn't my favorite.
Oh, I thought that was kind of cool.
But I think you guys did like it.
Yeah, it almost felt like there was a GoPro on them. Like, that's kind of what I liked. I felt like it was almost like it was like first-person perspective, like zoomed in, zoomed out, kind of. You never really got used to the pacing of the fighting, so it kind of just had you on edge, which I think for me had a pretty solid effect, rather than just having it from this like zoomed out perspective, just watching everyone brawl. It was really like in your face, and it wasn't just gunfire either. Yeah. I mean, they were taking posts from the pews and beating the snot out of each other. So, Alex, did you pick up anything specific from that, or?
I liked the speed effect on it too, though.
Yeah.
I like the close hand-to-hand combat, though, and I like that. You know, there's a scene that I always refer to in Daredevil that was a scene that made me really like the show, and it's a close hand-to-hand combat in a tight hallway.
Oh yeah.
And there's just I can't even remember what episode it is.
I think it's the first or the second, because every single person who talks about that show says watch that scene.
Yeah, it's a fantastic scene, and that's just for me close hand-to-hand combat is what I really like, and so they definitely captured that.
Yes.
And those fast and slow. Mm-hmm. They got that for sure.
The element I appreciated the most was, though the speed I wasn't crazy about, but what I like about good fight choreography. Like, I've been watching a lot of Into the Badlands, which personally I don't think the story's that great, but the fight choreography's on point, and it's the same reason that this was good, and it's the same reason I thought the Daredevil scene was good, is when you see a character come into the shot, I don't feel like they've been just like this. And then
like a video game character?
Exactly, like a video game. They're like, all right, now! Every single time a character came in, you felt like they were already fighting somebody off camera. Like, they were taking a knife like this, and now they're in the shot, and like the guy like puts his hand, like the guy who we care about, who all we see is this head and this knife now in the shot. He's like finishing the move.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like there were actually small fights going on behind them, as opposed to them just going like...
It's like a Where's Waldo scene. Like, there's just so much going on at once.
So, like, for a good portion of the fight, I was actually trying to watch people behind them just to see, and then I could see them actually later on coming into the frame and actually into the fight, that's what I really, really appreciated.
I did find it funny, just the physics behind it. I mean, sure, it's choreography, so what can you do? But, like, it seemed like people were flying just a little too far. Yeah. Like, it looked like they were being force pushed, you know? Yeah, like they were, like, flying at least, a dozen feet on a couple cases. So I'm like, I just don't know if the body can move that far from another
there was a little
person.
bit of the Hong Kong cinema, yeah. So, there was a little bit of that going on.
And again, the answer, like, this was in a church. Like, you kind of forget that at one point. Like, everyone's, like, slaughtering. Exactly. Like, you're just seeing full-on slaughtering in a church, and you're just like, oh, gosh, this is so brutal. And then it's just the choreography. Oof. Really, really good.
So, any other thoughts on that scene, just because that was kind of the pinnacle? Did you have anything
to get up and stretch?
Well, they seem to have a lot of knives at that church.
Yeah,
a lot of knives, a lot of guns.
Which I said while we were watching it. The one thing I did point out, it was in Kentucky, which I guess I don't know what Kentucky's gun and concealed weapons laws are. Not everybody necessarily respects the law, especially in a hate church. But they may have been a little more pro concealed carrying of at least knives, because I agree, there was a ton of not just knives, not just hunting knives, like these were like K-bar, like
I thought I saw one big one. I was like, who's carrying a friggin' machete?
Fire axe.
Yeah, there was like 7 fire axes. Yeah. I mean, I guess the church was all wood, and maybe it just had really, really shitty like fire safety standards. So they're like, you know what? To appease the fire marshal, we're going to have 95 fire axes around just in case.
They kept to, like the classic cinema effect too, where the main villain, I think in this case, was the preacher. You see him fall with the stake in his head, and then he falls further into it.
See, I didn't realize that was him.
No, he was the one preaching it, so he was the last one. And I was like, nice little touch.
So it was the Kingsman against the preacher in the last final
boss fight.
I didn't realize
the boss fight.
So with this whole scene, while this is all going on, the Kingsmen, all of them wear glasses. Apparently, all of them, like, as soon as they become Kingsmen, they get punched really hard in the eye, and now
they all have 20/40 vision.
Yeah, now they got to start wearing glasses.
Yeah, but it had like a.
But that's what I was going to say.
It was the Google glasses.
It's got the like the Google Glass type thing, and so essentially, while this is all occurring, we see Eggsy is watching this whole fight, and at the same time, so is Arthur, who is the leader of the Kingsmen.
And Gazelle and
Merlin was watching him too.
And Valentine.
Yeah. And Valentine and... well,
he's trying not to watch it.
But he wasn't watching it through the glasses.
Because he hated violence.
Correct.
They were just watching the fight from outside. Yeah. So so they were all watching this fight. So now the whole Kingsman organization knows what Valentine's plan is. Like, everybody understands. Like, okay, he's going to release this thing, and he's going to murder everybody. And we just watched Harry participate in this slaughterfest. And essentially, Harry comes out sort of the winner of the fight. Because he's standing there as everyone is dead. And now, like, the neurological thing is stopped. And he just realizes, like, he's in a sea of dead bodies.
Yeah, there's like 60 people in that church, at least.
Yeah. So from this point, he walks outside. And now he's greeted by Valentine, Gazelle, as well as... two random henchmen that have no purpose or lines. And they talk, they exchange some silly words, and eventually Harry shoots him in the face. Valentine shoots Harry in the face.
After saying the line, it's not that kind of movie.
I
think that's an important part to point out in the plot.
James Bond film.
That it's not exactly a James Bond film in the sense of a secret spy movie. But I just thought that was an important part in the plot. You were not expecting Harry to die at all.
Yeah.
And that line's a really... After seeing that church scene, you're like, wow, Harry's really cool. Like, he just killed a bunch of people. No, that was bad. Like, probably...
It was still cool.
It was cool. Like, he's a cool character. Then he gets blown in the face. Yeah. And you're like, whoa.
Because the whole thing... Yeah, exactly. Like, basically, he's like, this is where you say something, I say something, I tell you my plot to kill everybody, my secret plans, you make some great escape, I get all upset. It's not that kind of movie. Boom.
Yes.
But, that's like, it kind of defied that convention of spy movies, which was good. It kind of added to that discomfort that you have. And I think that just helped sell it, Yeah.
Right.
So, from there, that's kind of where the film starts to take a new direction. Because at this point, there was sort of two candidates for there was this open slot. Because we saw that character die in the mountain
range.
Yeah, the mountain range where we saw he was, trying to save the professor. So there was this open slot. All these different candidates were, knocked out, and now it's down to 2. And it looked like Eggsy lost because Eggsy was going to be forced to shoot a dog that he had to train with. And he didn't want to do it. He was like, no, I'm not going to shoot this dog that I love and care about. And so,
which is a pug, by the way.
Oh yeah,
you had to pick.
And so the other candidate, her name is Roxy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So Roxy ends up getting the new spot. Then
she's called Lancelot.
Yeah, and she's called Lancelot with her new role. And so now, but after this whole big scene happened with Harry, essentially, Eggsy comes into the role, and Eggsy then goes to Arthur to kind of confront him about the whole situation. Like, hey, like, what the hell just happened with Harry? And while he's having a conversation with him, he notices a scar behind his ear. And the scar is significant because we found out during all this investigation that everybody who... Sorry, drank way too much of that stuff.
I just noticed that was empty.
Yeah.
That was full a minute ago.
I need more. I'm talking too much. So for this implant, like this little scar behind their ear, every single person that Valentine recruits gets this implant placed in them. And how Valentine sells the implant is that it'll protect you from the waves controlling you and making you go into this violent rage. Which it does, but what it also does is it has essentially a bomb implanted in it that'll...
Just in case.
If he needs to, he can kill you. if you're trying to reveal the secret of what you know about his master plan, he can blow up your head at any time. And it's got like a listening device built into it and blah, blah, blah. So while Eggsy is with Arthur, the leader of the Kingsmen, he notices that Eggsy has this scar behind his ear. And essentially what we found out is pretty much every world leader is on board with Valentine.
It's an older scar than everyone else's too. So
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
either.
it was an old scar. The other ones were thick and red. This one was faded.
I didn't notice that.
Because you do see a scene at one point where on one of the world leaders, they kind of laser treat the scar to try to make it more cosmetic, to like hide it.
Yeah.
So that kind of clues you in a little bit to that.
Yeah, and then so while they're having this exchange, Eggsy realizes like, oh, he's actually with Valentine. And so essentially Eggsy is able to distract him, and he is able to get Arthur to poison himself. Because Arthur was trying to poison Eggsy distracts him, and he ends up poisoning
the glass
himself.
around like in Emperor's New Groove.
I didn't think about that.
Who's the llama now?
Yeah. Wasn't that also in the Princess Bride?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That whole. I can't say I've actually seen that movie in full, but I know.
It's worth it just purely for the cultural references that you'll like understand from other things.
Sure.
So after this, Arthur ends up dying. So essentially now, apparently, even though you see like 95 agents in, the Kingsman warehouse is ginormous, but apparently there's only 3 people left, which they don't explain why. Yeah, so
you're right.
I thought that was goofy. But anyway, there's 3 people left. We've got Merlin. Merlin was this guy who was essentially training all of the potential candidates.
He's the operations manager.
Yeah.
Like he monitors everyone while they're doing stuff.
Yeah. And then we have Roxy, who was the one who actually won out of all the applicants. And then we have Eggsy, who just essentially they gave a spot to. So it's these 3, and now they are like, okay, we know what Valentine's master plan is. We know.
Well, I think the reason why that none of the other operatives were there was because they weren't sure if they were in on it or not.
That's a good point.
They did say that.
Because he sat down.
Merlin said, we don't really know if we can trust anyone else. We need to do this by ourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
and he sat down.
I didn't notice that.
And he sat down with him and said, I need to know if you're okay with this. He said no. So he could have done that with everyone.
Okay.
And it was an old scar, so he had time to do that.
Yeah.
Like he could have been one of the first ones in on it.
Okay.
I did actually look up the other names of the other knights if anyone was ever curious. I don't have to read them, but...
Well, I guess how many were there?
There were, I think, in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 12 knights of the Round Table and then King Arthur.
Okay.
So they obviously went with the most recognizable names, but there's other ones like Gawain, Garavant, Percival... Gareth,
we've all seen Merlin, so
I know it from playing Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, so when I say that most people don't know the names, I'm just speaking for myself and saying I don't know the names of the other Knights of the Round Table. No, it's cool. So
keep going.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. Like they just never made reference to any of the other Knights. They just went with the prototypical,
just the most popular ones.
Yeah, But they were all men until this one Roxy character comes in.
Yeah, but she just was called Lancelot.
Which is why I took issue with the name Kingsman.
Yeah.
And wrote on the first way I wrote my note was King's Whamman. So I kind of...
Because Roxy was the first King's Whamman.
King's Whamman. Men.
So we've now got it down to the final 3 Kingsmen. It's Merlin, Roxy, and Eggsby. God damn.
Can we just? I can see you're stressed out.
Yeah,
Did you say Eggsby?
Is it Eggsby? Okay, Eggsby.
Eczema?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
The whole.
You can call him Gary.
Yeah,
they did a shit job with the names. Can I just say that?
They made a point out of it because the other applicants, while he was trying out for it, they mispronounced his name on purpose to disrespect him.
Right.
The other guy's name was Digby. He made a point of saying, "Hi, Digby." Like on purpose. I'm still respecting you.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Just to show you the contrast.
What's with these 2-syllable Y names? Digby, Roxy, Eggsy.
Well, that's the whole point.
I don't know enough about British culture to know if that's like what high society
No, I didn't
name
anyone's
It's his nickname.
I googled it means nothing.
It's just his nickname.
I didn't meet anyone named any of those
But
things.
how do you have the name Eggsy at the age of 2? Where did this name come from? Like, your dad thought you liked eggs, so he called you Eggsy, and then your dad died when you were 2, and then everybody calls you Eggsy forever. That's stupid.
Well, he had to have, had something to do with that, because his name's Gary.
Yeah.
Wag of the finger to the people who made the movie and picked the names. They could have done better.
I don't know.
I think they did it on purpose just to be like,
he has
a goofy name, but he's really cool.
Yeah.
Sure, just to bring him down a little bit.
I don't know if it's from the actual comic, though. It could be from the comic. So it could not be on the writer of the movie.
Got it.
Or the,
Fair point. The creator of the comic. Because this was a graphic novel before, correct?
2012 was the comic.
Yeah.
2014 was the release of the movie. So could be from I don't know enough.
To whoever first coined that name, Eggsy, I hope it's the last time, because it's a terrible name.
Sorry, I just gotta say this. There is where this movie first premiered was at a film marathon called Butt Numathon.
No, that's not real.
No, it is. I just thought that was really funny. That just popped up in my...
No, Lord of the Rings would be a butt numbathon because you have to sit for so long. Just and your butt would be numb for the name of the length of the movie.
Well, I'm guessing it's a marathon as in there's several films.
Oh, so it's actually funny. Okay.
So it's actually funny.
So it's actually... I was like, there's nothing actually named Butt Nomathon.
No, it is named Butt Nomathon. But it's just... Anyway... Okay, so let's get
back to the summary.
Yeah, we'll get to the goofiness of the characters. That's like one of the first things I want to talk about.
Carry on, Eggsby.
But so now we're down to the final 3 people. Essentially, what they come up with is this plan. Roxy's going to go knock out one of the satellites to slightly increase the time that they have before this death thing comes
in an
out.
80s jetpack.
Circle of satellites. Because there's at least 20 of them, I think.
Yeah, it's something like they're the satellites he's using to get
the signal.
The signal down, but essentially they're using the first satellite that's in the chain.
The closest one.
Yeah, so to make sure that at least the start of the chain doesn't start. So then,
complete.
Yeah, so they're able to, at least for a moment, delay the things. While Merlin and
Eggman.
I'm gonna start calling him Egerton and Egg. If
I say a new one every time,
if I say egg with it, I'm talking about him. So anyway, Egger lands in there with Merlin on this secret mountain base, which apparently they really like secret mountain bases. I do like that they were kind of like doing a very this is a super James Bond-esque, hidden mountain base.
Well, they built a plain tarmac inside the mountain that, apparently is long enough for the plane to land in.
Exactly.
A mile long.
Yeah. So he lands in this base where Valentine and all his, VIPs that aren't, that are going to survive the worldwide Holocaust are. And
about 100 guards.
Oh, yeah. And about 100 guards, and I'm sure some maintenance people who all were considered VIPs, too.
There was someone waving down the plane.
I just wonder if somebody was they were actually worth $10 million, but everybody else is a billionaire. So they do have enough money to get in, but you're going to have to clean toilets.
All those guards were presidents.
Yeah. But of really small nations.
That's why you took them out so easy.
Yeah.
President of Madagascar, come on aboard. Yeah. We need you to...
Here's his guns.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So he ends up going into the base. Valentine starts his murder machine, and, you start seeing these images of people all around the world, killing each other. And for a moment, Eggsy is able to stop him for a brief period of time, and, they kind of do this convoluted story of he stops him, and he doesn't stop him, he stops him, he doesn't stop him. And while they're all fighting, Eggsy gets cornered, and there's guards all around him. And then Eggsy has the idea to, trigger the implants. Now, everybody has the implants. So he's like, hey.
Everyone there.
Yeah. Because Merlin gets into the computer system because, he's a super hacker guy, and apparently just going,
I think I can hack that.
He can hack in anything. So
it's like how Colbert types on.
I can't stop.
No, it's like the cat that types on the computer.
Done.
Anyway, so essentially, he gets into this system, and they trigger all of the implants on everybody. So what it is it's. I want to say it's. I know the name of the song.
It's not the. Is that it? Because you're thinking of you're thinking of V for Vendetta when they blow up Parliament. But the same effects happen. It's literally these colorful firework explosions of people's heads, and it's so obnoxiously over the top.
They literally show not only just the people, the guards, not only the people, the VIPs who are in the base, but also there's many other VIPs throughout the world who have this implant. So who are in boardrooms, who are in panic rooms, like the White House. You even
the president.
You
see the president.
You see who you have to assume is Barack Obama's head explode, but it's not in a big bloody thing. No. It's in a very colorful firework. Every color's different.
It shoots up and then pops. So it's like I always thought of it as like when you're on, I think, the legendary mode on Halo, and you can alterate one of the settings for when you get one of those headshots and on the aliens, and you just hear "Yay!" like when it hits them in the face. It's just this puff. You feel like you're at the color run.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
What is it? It's the grunt party skull.
the grunt party skull. That's exactly what it is.
I actually remember exactly how to get the grunt party skull.
There's literally no blood except on one of the big world leaders that you see later on.
Yeah, but it's super close up.
It looks like his face got microwaved.
His eyes go.
Yeah.
They bulge out of his head and stuff.
But there is another American jab because you see Egbert, whatever his name is. You see him walking down, and you see a fallen guy with a Yankees shirt on.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he had a Yankees shirt on. So I was like, they're just getting every little jab in here.
So so everybody's head explodes. So essentially, there's no one left in this entire base now, except for the people who don't have are the implants. Which at first, Eggman thinks that it's just him and Merlin, but it turns out that actually Valentine and Gazelle, I keep wanting to call her Giselle, don't have the implants, which makes sense. Like he wouldn't put a fail-safe thing in his own head because he doesn't need one in his own head. And so they all start fighting, and it's a big, long, drawn-out fight. Essentially, they both get killed.
A disco party.
Yeah.
Basically.
They play dance music to it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
They did just a sidebar, too. They did a really great job in timing the music with the fight scenes.
They did.
They made it very, very classy.
I definitely want to talk about the soundtrack and whatever, but that they did very well. But essentially, Valentine and Gazelle get killed, and there's a little... We watched the uncensored version, and there was a little scene at the end of a romantic tryst with some Swedish princess that got rather graphic. And at that point, the film kind of ends with the assumption that, everybody around the world stopped killing each other, and though it was obvious a lot of people were killed, my guess would be, if you were just to imagine that for 5 minutes, everyone in the world just wanted to kill each other, but not wanted to, tried to kill each other, I would guess at least 1/20th of the world's population would die.
Sure.
At least.
I think so. Because it was on for a good
I'm sorry, if that happened right now, all three of you guys are going down. I'm sorry. The first thing I'm doing is I'm taking this glass and smashing it here.
But we don't have knives, though.
Why am I the victim?
You would. That is true.
I'm going to snap the leg off this table and use it as a big old spike.
So, but that's just what I mean. Is and I said this before in one of my other reviews for, what was that? X-Men it was X-Men Apocalypse, was... There's just a lot of movies where it's yay, everyone's happy. No, a lot of people died. Let's mourn for a moment. At least mention
well, they did.
Yeah, it sucks. Everyone died.
They sort of did.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that.
Well,
they had
they showed the mom with the baby
scene, and there was 20 guys outside of a room
dead with
their
heads
blown off. Yeah. I didn't think about that part. Yeah.
So,
at least they showed the mom with the toddler.
They did.
Because, Eggsy had someone call his mom.
That was a pretty disastrous scene.
And then they showed the wall, the door all torn apart from her trying
straight
to
up from The Shining.
Yeah,
here's Johnny.
So it showed you that there's still some aftermath.
To really quickly explain the scene, what it was is Roxy had contacted Eggsy's mom and just quickly told her get as far away from your child as you can. And so while you're showing these scenes of chaos, you're seeing the mom trying to get to her child so she can essentially kill her child. The one thing is that all that scene made me think of is how many other moms were with their kids
weren't locked up.
Kill their kids. So that's what it is. This movie ends with a funny joke, we're gonna have anal sex with this princess. But
that's
a lot of moms killed their kids, and a lot of husbands killed their wives, and a lot of pilots crashed planes directly into the ground.
Well, there's another question. Like, if you're sleeping, does it like wake you up from your sleep to like?
I wouldn't think so because it looked like he said it would just like
because that would really affect like how many other people died.
That's a good point.
This reminds me of Dan Brown's the book Inferno. Sorry, this will be a book spoiler alert. Movie YouTube channel to come.
Yeah.
But the major premise of that movie is they're Robert Langdon, the character of the book, comes to find out that this guy is trying to eradicate a large number of people of the world in this kind of mass culling in the same kind of way, like by releasing a virus that'll affect only a certain but a large number of people. So it's kind of like it had the same like noble like let's kill a lot of people, but it's for the greater good by cleansing the earth.
Ben, there was a James Bond movie just like this one. I forgot what it's called, but there's this supervillain who takes a bunch of hot girls up into a satellite and has a plan to destroy everyone on the planet.
It's got to be Moonraker, because that's the only one that I know that takes place in space.
I barely remember it.
That was the best gun.
I barely remember it, though.
Yeah, actually, I do remember that. That is Moonraker. I didn't think about how much this movie's like Moonraker.
It's just like it.
And now we have the addition of Obi, my and Alex's smallest dog. He will probably calm down, and if not, we might have to take a brief intermission, which is probably okay, because I'll need to drink something. So we'll wrap up the movie. We'll probably take a quick break, and then we'll jump right back into it. So to wrap up the film, though, we see there's a post-credit scene, and essentially now Eggert has returned, and now he's got his big egg costume on. He's got the the little Kinder Egg logo and stuff. And
what?
This is not a fake movie. Spoilers alert.
Yeah.
So let's be real.
So we don't want no alternative.
So anyway, he shows up in his fancy suit, and he's a Kingsman. He's all fancy.
He's got an umbrella.
I wonder if he has a pocket watch. Anyway, so then his mom is at the bar with her abusive boyfriend, and essentially he just beats the shit out of everyone at the bar, using the same line that Harry had used earlier.
It's implied, though, because it cuts off right after he shoots glass across the room. Yeah. The other guys looked so scared, though, I thought they just...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he field hockey shot the glass out of him, too.
And he did it in the same way that Harry did. But essentially what it is he saved his mom from the abusive boyfriend. Then we get the nice wrapped up thing. So you're supposed to feel happy, except for, once again, moms killing their babies. But... So, that was the summary of Kingsman, the Secret Service. We're going to take a 5-second break, at least that's what it's going to seem like for you guys, and refill our drinks, and then we'll start talking about, what we thought of the movie as a whole. Okay.
Okay.
Serious. All right. So, we're coming back. We've had some good discussion, possible ideas for future podcasts, and I think that'd actually be pretty funny. We'll talk about them later, but there's some good ones. So anyway, we've talked about the summary of the film. We went through it relatively in depth, but, it's shorter than the movie. So, what did you guys think of the film? So we'll kind of go one by one. We'll start with Zach, because Zach, this is the first time he's seen the movie. So, having nothing going in, what did you know about the film before you went in, and what did you think as it went on, and how did you end up?
Yeah, so, I'd like to think, within my own family and friends, I'm pretty big into movies, but I hadn't seen it before. A couple close family friends of mine said, this is one of the best movies you'll see. Kind of an open-ended blank statement. I mean, I didn't find the plot to be overly complex. It was very contained plot. It was a good plot. The choreography, cinematography, I thought was really great. Like I said earlier, the variation in camera speed and zoom angle, kind of making it feel like it was like a GoPro kind of style shot. I thought it was kind of cool. Kind of made it feel more contextual in that sense. If I had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10.
We'll wait on that.
Oh, we do that at the end. That's a thing?
We do that at the end.
Oh, I'm breaking rules here. Guys, this is my first time.
Okay, we do that at the end.
This is my movie spoilers. We do that at the end,
and we'll explain, because all of you guys, it's your first time here. Alex knows what's going on.
I know.
And she tells me that she listens to the previous podcast. I know she doesn't.
You can't give a rating.
We'll explain how the rating system works, and then you can give a rating.
So I thought it was overall really good. I really enjoyed it. It had a very John Wick feel, but kind of in a more British twist. Mm-hmm. There was actually some good dialogue. John Wick, I don't remember them really saying anything. It's Keanu Reeves, so
it's you killed my dog. That's the only line in the whole film. But you don't need another word.
That's a spoiler. I haven't seen the movie.
I've done the spoiler for the movie. The dog.
The dog dies.
Yeah. What?
What dog and when?
Which, by the way, that would be the one for John Wick. Which we'll explain more a little later.
Digging in some inside jokes here, but no, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I got a couple things to say about the character development themselves, but I think as a whole, I definitely would recommend it for anyone over 17. But yeah.
Well, we did watch the unrated version.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So over 21, still over 17, probably.
Well, I mean, unrated. Who knows? I mean, like Elmo's Big Adventure is probably unrated.
Wait. Okay.
Next.
Okay.
Please.
So we'll go. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay. So Dillon. Yeah.
I thought it was awesome because it was so good because it's just like Samuel Jackson describes in the scene where he's across the table and they're serving McDonald's. He says the new movies are so serious, but I like the good old-fashioned Bond movies. I'm a stickler for that. And this really, really, fulfills that role, definitely. With the puffy head explosions.
Yeah.
And the gratuitous shots of, them punching the guy across the room like he's Captain America's strength. That's awesome. I love that in a movie.
So I guess...
And there's a lot of action scenes. And when I first saw the movie, for the first time, I was not expecting any of that. I was like, this will be an okay movie. My dad picks out, sometimes they're bad movies, This was an awesome movie, and it surprised the heck out of me.
So watching it a second time, do you feel the same? Do you feel more in one direction or less in one direction about the movie?
I feel the same.
Okay.
I feel exactly the same. It's awesome. It's a little bit, because it doesn't have that surprise element, of course, which was a lot of the movie, but it was really good.
Some would say it was excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you. That was
yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
So Alex,
I guess if we're going on a spy, it's definitely in the genre of spy movie films, and I guess I'm not a big fan of that genre. So for me, it would fall into that genre, and I'm not a big fan of them. So
because they're not relatable or just kind of unrealistic?
Maybe just not realistic for me. And I guess lean more towards I guess I lean away from a non-realistic. For me, I love the individual scenes in the movie. I love that action scene. I love what Dillon said about the head explosions scene. Okay, come on, how can you not love that scene? That is such a good scene. But the plot just doesn't it's just not a realistic thing for me. I don't know. I can't imagine an overlord taking over this.
It's too stereotypical.
It's too it's too
the element that he was able to get every single government leader to be super okay with it,
or he locked him up just that easy.
It's not
just locks them up.
It's not those really great rom-coms. It's not. It didn't have the depth of definitely maybe.
Yeah, it didn't remind me of 27 Dresses, the greatest film of all time.
But I don't like those movies either. So.
I was taking a wild guess.
Those aren't the genres that I like either. Hey, come on.
I'm not making fun of you.
I don't even know what
I'm just making fun of what Zach was saying.
I don't even know what that... Exactly, that's how I feel I don't even know what that... I don't think I've watched 27 Dresses once.
I don't even know. Too many times.
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you... You probably have watched it more than I have.
I probably have.
So for me, it's not in my genre.
So I guess
it's not something that I like. I like the individual scenes for sure, though.
Okay, so even though it wasn't your genre,
I still think it's a fantastic movie for its genre.
Okay.
You just would have been happier watching individual YouTube clips rather than the movie as a whole?
I would want to watch the movie as a whole.
Okay.
Definitely. I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
Got it.
I'm just saying it's not my genre. Maybe that's what I'm saying.
How about that? I hear you.
Yeah. I would feel the same way about watching like a chick flick though too. This is not a good movie because it's a chick flick. So that's my feeling on the movie.
Okay. So for me, this is the second time also that I watched it. I did not like the movie at all the first time. I very much focused in on a lot of the goofiness. I also was recommended this movie by people who were focused on elements that I do not care about in films that were much more important to them. I was told that the fashion is really cool. And you know how they're all... This is all from my sister, Colin. And just, it was all like, you know, like, oh, it's so cool. Like, I don't care about that. And that element came off really snobby to me and silly. Whereas, like, with James Bond, you know, like, they were trying to play up the class element. Where James Bond is coming up as, not just, like, classy, as in, like, prim and proper, but, like, classy as in, like, suave. Like, if Daniel Craig sat down next to me at a bar and started pulling out his James Bond stuff, I'd be like, so, what's your room number? Whereas this didn't have any of that element of
No, there
swap.
wasn't any like sex appeal in it. Like they didn't really make an effort to do that.
They had one sex scene at the end, which was exactly. It was very out of place. It just felt like this is supposed to be just.
I felt like Merlin did, like,
He's supposed to be like a little kid.
Yeah,
like, he's supposed to be like this kid. We see him
like maybe
at the
19.
age of like 4 or 3 or whatever. Yeah. We see him like grow up and like change throughout this movie. You're supposed to like root for him for like growing up.
Yeah,
and you're like.
Okay. It seemed like, which I understand, like that's how every James Bond movie ends, is always him having sex with whatever the girl is.
Maybe that's where we're going.
They just got right to the point with
that. They kind of kept it very
Maybe
gentlemanly in that sense. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, they did make a lot of cool references to old drinks, you know, real fashionable items, and it's just like, I think they were trying to strip away from everything else and say, you know, really, what does it mean to be a gentleman, as they recognize in the movie? And it's not about...
Yeah, like, we were really hardcore on that gentleman thing, and then we went right into, like, I don't know.
That's what it's to show you he's not.
So
he's not a full gentleman.
Maybe he is a full gentleman now. Maybe that's what you get when you're a gentleman.
Maybe that's what
it's the
happens.
Princess at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
when you're a full gentleman. I don't know.
And they watched 27
Merlin was just as shocked as I was when we closed the monitors.
And then you break into your room and then watch 27 Dresses.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that was I just, and also just the same. And I did another podcast on this, and I really believe this is important. Is I think how you watch a movie very much affects what you feel about the movie. I know that the time I watched the movie, there was a lot of things going on, and I was not giving the movie the proper attention that it needed.
What do you mean how you, like, if I watched it on my head? I mean, that would be a different experience.
I did another podcast talking about the difference of...
Like your mental preparedness for the movie?
No, like as whether you're watching in a movie theater versus watching it at home.
So
whether you're watching it on your phone or you're watching it on, you know, a ginormous TV.
Like, comment, and subscribe to hear his other podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
How do you watch a movie? Thanks.
But that's the point is, you know, if you're sitting texting on your phone through 45 minutes of the movie and not really paying attention, you know, not giving it the full, you know, you're goofing around texting people, you're not paying attention to how cool one fight scene is, how advanced the choreography is. Because you're like, oh yeah, they're punching each other. Oh yeah, so I'm going to the blah, blah, blah. You know, something, so that's what I'm saying is I don't think I gave the film proper attention the first time. So this time, I wanted to make sure I made a point of, you know, focusing on the film. You know, it was fine to chit-chat, you know, amongst us, you know, make a few jokes or comments, but specifically related to the movie.
Sure. And
I think that with doing that, I was able to much better appreciate it this time around. I did actually enjoy it. I do enjoy the spy genre to a degree. I'm able to ignore some of the ridiculousness, but at the same time, I'm not. And so I go back and forth. But I actually enjoyed the movie a lot more this time than I did the first time I saw the film. I hated the film the first time. I actually really did enjoy it overall. And we'll get through the individual elements of why, but I actually did think it was much better this time around.
There's kind of like a formula for spy movies. Like, the opening scene has to be in a distant, far-off place where you see the villain first, not the hero. You know, someone has to die, and then some affiliated person of the hero's group has to show up and make an entrance, you know. Exposition. There's some sort of double-crossing, double-agent scene happens. Some sort of plan is revealed for mass extinction, mass destruction. and sex scene. Like, it's kind of a formula.
But to a degree, which I will say, that was why I loved Bourne movies, is they don't follow that.
No?
No. Which, if you say no in that manner, that tells me you haven't seen the Bourne films, and I hate you. So anyway, I hate you all, because I know you haven't either. Anyway, okay, and Obi's joining back in the podcast.
Obi apparently hasn't seen...
Yeah, Obi's upset that you guys haven't seen Bourne. Obi's watched the Bourne films, and he's 5 months old, or 4 months old.
There's too many of them. I can't keep up.
There's
4! And they're making what, a fifth?
The first 3. I think there's actually 5.
Identity, reign, something, supremacy.
So but anyway, the point is that there's a lot of movies follow formulas. I mean, you look at, because we're joking about it, every single chick flick, it's girls with guy, but guy's a douche, but she's still with guy. The new guy comes in and boop-ba-doo-ba-doo, they're starting to get together, but then she does something to upset new guy.
It's a misunderstanding.
And then she's getting on the airplane, and then he's running to the airport and saying, but I have to do it for love. And the TSA agent's like, go! And then they meet and they make out in the rain somehow in the middle of the airport.
It's,
so that's
highly realistic.
There's certain movies that definitely follow a genre, and spy movies are certainly one of them. I don't think that that's necessarily a knock against them. It means, to me, what it means is when I'm going into this movie, I know what to expect. I don't expect you to surprise me in that area. I expect you to impress me in other areas of the movie to make it a good film overall.
Sure. Yeah.
So we've all said our initial thoughts, so now we're going to start breaking it down. So in terms of characters, in terms of acting, in terms of all that stuff, I guess, what did you guys think? So let's start out with our main character, Egbert. Egbert.
Well, we're gonna glance over this really quick. You never actually said who the professor was. It's Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah.
So what's with Mark Hamill making 2-minute appearances in movies lately?
Yeah.
Like, how talk about making good money for a short amount of time. I mean,
he was warming up for that 30 seconds in Force Awakens.
Spoiler alert. But no, I just it's insane to me.
Yeah, he's warming up for that. Yeah.
I just feel like if I ever got the opportunity to meet Mark Hamill, I would find anything that I can that's slightly cylindrical and just go.
Well, you should just try to shake his hand like that and do the same thing.
But stand at a really awkward distance, like really far away, and be like, Dillon.
Just like a dirty diaper.
Like, so he's gonna walk like a good 10 feet to get to me to grab it.
It makes me sad. I'm going real off the rails here, but Mark Hamill in Star Wars Force Awakens. I mean, that's all he did, and he made more money doing that than I will ever make in my life, just by extending his elbow and looking at the camera.
Does he even do that though, or does he just turn around?
I don't think he does. No, he doesn't do.
You're not making me feel better.
It's Ray that extends. It's it's
oh
Ray
shit,
that,
and then he goes.
Yeah.
So all the more he makes that much money just pulling his hood back.
Really quick aside,
cool.
I really wish at the end of that when he turned around, it was like, see more of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. To be continued.
So it's just he's got such a small role in this movie in Kingswoman, Egbert.
He really has a
Kingsman. And it's just and then he ends up getting his head blown off in the movie. Yeah. So it's wow, they just really glanced over his role.
And I definitely didn't recognize him.
And he talked like the Joker.
And yeah, he talked exactly like the Joker.
Come on.
With his British accent.
Yeah, I guess his British accent is the Joker.
That was okay though. I liked hearing the Joker.
Oh, I mean, I liked it. And I've said this a million times. He is by far the best Joker. In my opinion, by far. But yes, he played the professor. He was. The reason I didn't mention it was just it wasn't that important to the plot.
I know, but
it was cool.
It's Mark Hamill, and he's in a movie for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I've seen 4 minutes of him in movies, and collectively of 4 hours of watching movies with him in it. Yeah. So it's just
he's in The Flash too.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm. He plays the toy maker or something. He does the Joker voice too.
I was gonna say, he basically is the universe.
Joker. Yeah, no, it's in the TV show.
But that's what I'm saying is
it's in the DC universe too. So there's no Batman show, so it just makes sense.
Gotham, sort of, not really.
Well, the Joker isn't in it though.
Don't ruin it yet. We're not going to ruin it yet.
I haven't seen the whole thing. Don't say anything.
You'll get there.
Anyway,
so that's character. So I'm assuming you want to start with.
So yeah, so let's start with
eczema.
With omelet. We're going with omelet.
Omelets.
So what do you think of Eggs Benedict?
Eggs Benedict. So that guy I learned is the voice actor for the gorilla in DreamWorks Sing, which I thought was a really, really good movie. So the guy, I just immediately recognized his voice, and he's got a really good singing voice. I actually think he's from New Zealand. I know, strangely enough. I don't think he naturally has a British accent. I think he's just more from south of the equator. But I thought it was really cool. I mean, I like that they made him hardcore parkour and all that kind of cool stuff. But they explained why he had that. He didn't just become like this nobody and then all of a sudden have these acrobatic talents. They said that he was Olympic bound gymnast in college. Or
did they say
that? They did, yeah.
Oh,
he was looking at the Olympics because he was in college, I think, and then he went off to the Marines.
Yeah.
But when Harry was reviewing his case, he's like, "Oh, you could have went to the Olympics for gym." So that's how he's leaping over buildings and triple jumping walls like a video game character, like because he's a freaking athlete.
Wall running.
But I thought he was cool. I thought his character development was good. They kept him honorable and true throughout the whole movie. And I like that they I thought it was kind of cool that they let his human side slip a little at the end, and albeit. Overly romantic scene. But, he doesn't shoot the dog. He helps out the other characters, which it's noble and just.
Who would shoot the dog?
Well,
apparently that one.
Apparently Roxy.
Shoot the dog!
Apparently Roxy would shoot the dog. But, the dog actually didn't die, which was nice. They never actually loaded the gun, so they said that they were testing.
They said at one point
they're testing limits, but they're not pushing past.
Because my argument in that situation would be because there's a scene where he's getting yelled at for not shooting the dog because he's like it was filled with blanks. And almost like as you should have known. And then he's like, no, because you guys said that there was no more safety nets. And to me, a blank and a gun is a safety net. So no.
You were also told to take care of the dog.
Yeah.
So, to me, I'm told you wanted me to take care of this dog and not
him turning the gun on the guy, to me, was much more a noble act, like protecting the innocent.
Right.
Than it was, you just follow orders blindly because I tell you.
Exactly.
That's
and
how
the
I
guy
felt too.
giving the orders pointed the gun at him in the first place, though.
Yeah.
It was like a show. It was a show of authority. Which that's what it was.
By the way, I guess I'm not an expert on gun safety. However, I will say that anyone who does know gun safety would argue that handing a gun to somebody
with the finger and the trigger,
with a finger on not just a trigger, but a gun that has 2 triggers on it. One for a shotgun, one for a 9mm. Handing it to them that way is probably not the safest, most, gun safety.
But it looks cool.
It does look cool.
It looks real cool.
I will say that.
Never do.
Because that's cool, guys.
Okay. Maybe it's a super heavy trigger. I don't know. So I guess, Dillon, what did you think, though, of our
food?
Our scrambled eggs.
Our main character.
Egg Foo Young.
The main character?
Yeah.
I thought he was good. He had a good, character arc. At first, he was, he was very ungentlemanlike. He ended up being a little bit more gentlemanlike, at least. And he didn't want to kill the dog because he had to carry it and everything.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was the part about him
turning point for him
that impressed me the most with him was not killing the dog.
Well, I was consistency with this character. I thought,
sure.
But, he finally had the courage to stand up to his abusive stepdad at the end. They showed that scene.
Yeah.
Because before even he said when he was in the taxi, he said, have everyone else go outside. I'll kick your butt.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, he fought them all.
Yeah.
At the same time, in the exact same way that his mentor did, and that shows character growth.
Yeah.
Before he was shocked, he's sitting there with his glass, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about him, because he's a pretty simple character as far as the arc goes.
Kind of, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, he is pretty simple.
The one thing that was surprised,
his actor I thought was pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like he could show a range of emotions from a relatively straight face. When he was switching those glasses around, he said, "Oh, look over there," and then he turns around and I saw his pose was slightly off, so it was he did something.
Yeah,
it was subtle. I loved it.
the two things that I'll say is, the one is the only thing I have to say really about him is the actor himself. Is he suffers from something that I've seen a few other actors suffer from, is he has an extremely forgettable face. If I met the guy, I would have no idea that he was the main character in Kingsman.
Not exactly a bad thing, though, either.
I mean, yeah. It just, to me, like, I don't know that I could place him. So, I mean, that's good and that's bad because he's going to have the benefit of not being typecasted, such as Mark Hamill. Like, all we can think is, like, he's Luke Skywalker and or the Joker. Like, that's all we could talk about was that. Not, like, how good he was as Professor Fliggin', or Arnold, I guess. It wasn't that complex of a name. But all we could talk about is that because Mark Hamill, all you see is, like, that's Luke Skywalker. Is he going to use the Force on him? But, you know.
I'd still trade my face for Eggsy's face, though, if I was given the option. Kind of a beautiful man.
No.
Just saying. I mean,
like I said, to me, it's just kind of like white noise in my mind.
White noise.
He had a cool eyebrow thing, so.
That's something.
What? Like what?
He had like a scar through his eyebrow.
He did?
Really?
Yes, I was checking out his face, man.
I
was checking out his face.
I am appalled!
Well. Which gets me to my second point, which is the one thing, I guess I don't know how I feel about it, but I thought it was worth noting is there was no female character throughout the whole film that he did express any form of interest towards until the very end. So the point that I'm making, though, is that to pull it away from the typical spy film is the fact that there was not some girl where you're spending half the film like watching her get out of the pool,
right,
and
Roxy, the Lancelot character.
Yeah.
They showed that they had like a business relationship.
Yeah,
you know
they showed zero.
It wasn't like a romantic thing.
Yeah, and
it might have been, but they didn't show it.
Like more of a companionship to like help each other throughout the trials, and to help each other throughout the Kingsmanship, like the Kingsman, like
yeah. And to make a point about her too, the only sexuality they ever referred to her with was the fact that she needed to be engaged in a lesbian interaction as opposed to
win the woman
a heterosexual.
Yeah, they both revealed the picture of who they're supposed to be with. It's like, we'll see about that.
Which that may have not been anything because that was all during testing.
Well,
and that might have just been about
job.
That's her job. So that's what I'm saying but that was
that's interesting.
That was the only sexuality they showed of her in the whole film was her trying to woo
she didn't
another
really
woman.
Have an issue with it at all.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe just because
not
it was part of the trial, but maybe that was supposed to be towards her sexuality. I don't know.
So that was the only thing. I mean, she literally was, apart from his mom, the only other female in the whole film.
There was one female in the beginning of the water.
And Gazelle.
There was one other female, I think, in the water scene.
Yeah, and there's a couple...
Because they said, you all forgot that one element.
Oh,
and she was the one that drowned, but actually just went on to work at a tailor's office.
This film, really quick aside, there's a test, and I've mentioned it before in other podcasts. This film also, unfortunately, fails that test. I can't remember the name of it. But it's the test that you have two female characters have one sentence with each other that's not about a man.
And how many of them really pass, though?
Oh, I know. But just, it's not, to me, it's not about it. I'm not commenting on it because, I am saying anything about, this is a sexist movie. I'm just saying it is.
But that's what the test's for.
Well, yeah, that's what the test is used for. But for my purposes, to me, it's just purely an interesting thing to note. In any movie I watch doesn't happen. Like, it's just like it's like a fun fact to try, like, does it?
I mean, the movie was called Kingsman.
Yeah.
So it kind of set the stage.
Kingsman or Kingsman?
Kingsman? We looked this up. It has an A-N, right? Don't undermine. I don't know. I don't have my computer in front of me, but I think it's Kingsman, so it kind of sets the stage for Knights of the Round Table.
But wait a second. Doesn't the girl, the Lancelot, and the other girl they're trying to woo, as the job, don't they have a line?
But their line is only to introduce Egerton.
But they don't mention him.
But it's only for the purpose.
Just a technicality?
I think for that purpose it does. because it's about a man.
Well, they're just sort of around him, though.
But isn't...
So future, to avoid flaming comments, we are all under the opinion that there should be more female to female commentary that is not male focused and more male female leads.
There should be more female on female scenes. That's what we're getting at this podcast.
Well, I know. I guess you're right
there.
Because she does say, "Hey, you should watch out for him because he." I guess
you know what that is, but that is true. I didn't think about that. You're right.
Because it's like talking. One line.
When she is talking to her, she does talk for a little bit about...
Alex, are we mansplaining right now? I really hope we're not. Tell us if we are. I don't think we are.
Okay, so we're going to move on from that point. We're going to move on from that one. So anyway, I mean, the only thing I really didn't like about the main character was... I mean, just his name is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. It just was so stupid. Like, can we pick a better... Like, if they said, like... Hey, at one point he's like, "Hi, my name's Gary, but everybody calls me Eggs because when I was 2, I only ate eggs." Boom. Okay, but Eggsy the whole time we're like, like, is this some British thing that we don't know about, or is this some like? I wish there was a moment of explanation because at one point he goes Gary, I mean Eggsy. So, like, you realize, like, oh, his name is not, like, some goofy British name that none of us have heard of, like Benedict Cumberbatch. It's, like, an actual,
isn't that a restaurant item? Eggs Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
I think I had that the other day.
So that's just what I mean is, like, that's the one character flaw, and I don't care if that's from the comic book or if that's from whatever, that's a stupid...
Someone done fucked up. Yeah. They got the name wrong.
Because, let's put it this way. And they do make a joke about this a little bit, but James Bond, Jason Bourne, Jack Bauer, those are Jack Reacher, all those are solid names. Like
names.
I mean, like that's always like
Jelly Bean. Come on, JB.
Yeah, Jelly Bean, the greatest secret agent of all time.
The one you've never heard of.
Exactly. I mean, like, even though I do think it's a bad thing about James Bond, how he introduces himself to everybody as his first name, just, "Hi, I'm James Bond, I'm a secret agent." But when he says the line, "The name's Bond, James Bond," like, that's got so much, like, power behind it, as opposed to, "The name's Eggsy." Like, "Hi, you're a secret..."
Well, if you were a secret agent, would you walk up to someone and say your name, though?
My point is not
someone, from a... "Hi, I'm Eggsy."
Not from but my point is not from a practicality point. It's from a cinematography standpoint that just like everybody isn't going to be like, "I'm going to dress up as Eggsy for Halloween." Like, that sounds weird.
Sounds like Etsy, that website that you can buy weird things on.
So that's my only problem with the main character is just Eggsy.
So you just get so distracted by the name of the character, you really can't pay attention to, like,
for the first 5 minutes, I couldn't. That's all I could think about was Eggsy.
Really, scrambled your brain.
Yeah, exactly. All I can think about is egg jokes.
Thanks.
I like puns.
So, apart from Egerton,
what a shell of a lot of them. I'm so sorry. Just I can't.
That was a good one.
Thanks. I don't like to yoke around.
I can't. I bet you can't do another.
No.
Okay. So I guess other characters. What were your opinions? I guess the next most important one to talk about would be our big bad guy, which we did kind of talk about. Mike Tyson. What did everybody think of Mike Tyson?
What's the name of he's also a TV show host. He's got the split tooth. Why am I forgetting this? He's with something in Kelly. The talk show host that he's got the list.
Regis?
No, the new one.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to look this up. Carry on, because this is going to
bother me. So I guess what did you guys think of Valentine?
Why is his name Valentine?
Yeah, that's
why do we need
to... It's over the top. I swear to Christmas, I thought I was watching a music video.
The bad guy's cookie name.
But that's because that's I would say
name, though.
That I would say is definitely a spy homage in the sense that, like, Octopussy and Blowfinger, like everybody had like all Bond films.
We can forget. Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah. We can have Eggsy and Valentine.
It's supposed to be a James Bond film.
Oh, Michael Strahan. He just sounded like Michael Strahan. Just this list. Oh, it was weird. And the hat, it was really weird.
Yeah,
he looked
way over the top. Definitely weird.
So maybe that was again kind of that Americanization.
That's another American thing, I'm sure.
No, they weren't. I don't think they were trying to make fun of Americans. I think it was just part of the quirky villain thing. The American thing, like like Ben said, is like a side effect because usually it's a British film.
Yeah.
I like that I do like that they outlined a very like realistic negative quality, which is like he's just queasy around blood. Yeah. It's funny to think of a villain. It kind of makes him feel a little bit more innocent because he doesn't
very like true to like a spy film, like a quirky villain thing, like that. They could have left just that. They didn't have to do like the Lisp thing. I don't know why they did that, especially because he didn't hold on to that throughout the entire.
Yeah,
film.
it was poor. Like, that was a poor job
for Samuel L. Jackson. Like not to like do a good job on that was really awkward for me.
I wanted to see like Snakes on a Plane, Samuel L. Jackson. Like I just want to see a little bit
that's
more.
That's what I felt like with Samuel L. Jackson.
Or like any of the Tarantino movies.
Samuel L. Jackson was almost parodying Samuel L. Jackson by doing an inverse Samuel L. Jackson, because we think of Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. We think of him as Mace Windu. We think of him from Snakes on a Plane. We think of him from what do you call it? Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction. You know, we think of him saying like, "Yeah, stutter, motherfucker!" Like you're expecting him to say, like, be really intense. But the first shot you see him,
he stutters.
He stutters. He's really. They make him look tall, but to me, it's not that he looks
like
tall.
Gangly.
He looks weak. He looks gangly. He looks small.
Yeah.
His partner does everything for him. He even gives him the glass. Comes up everything.
Well, he's an MIT grad. Didn't he say that? Not saying that has anything to do with it, but like again, they just
he's supposed to be a nerdy guy,
a techie genius
who's dressed up as like
but like even going with nerdy, you think about because he's in Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park. He's supposed to be nerdy. He still looks like a big, full black man. That's
he's a security head though.
He's supposed to be like.
But he's a security head. He's not supposed to look.
No, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying is like that's what I mean. It's like to me he was almost like a parody of his other like not a parody, but like a anti of his other selves.
And playing Valentine is Samuel Jackson playing as Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Like that's like how the credits should be.
Yeah, I guess like he definitely wasn't playing his normal Samuel L. Jackson character. So that was just I thought that was
like similar, like in the sense like the King Arthur. Mm-hmm. He's the same character in every show he's in. Again, forgetting this guy's name, but
I just looked at it a second ago.
What's his name?
It is
the British guy.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Michael Caine is always the same character.
He's always Michael Caine.
He's always an older gentleman who's always like a caring,
wise to the years.
Yes.
Quick with
always
the
a
words.
Caretaker, always someone who's caring for someone. I don't know, that's just...
He's always in an authority.
Maybe because, he always is Alfred.
So it's just funny.
He's just Alfred.
He's always Alfred. Yeah, so it's just funny seeing...
This movie, he was evil Alfred, but he was Alfred.
He was still an Alfred,
yes.
Right.
So
he told the guy to shoot the dog, and that's when I was first like, Alfred, how could you?
I just would have loved if he was like, when he's like, now shoot the dog, and it turns around and it's Batman, like, full bat costume, like
I can't, Alfred. I can't shoot the dog. Don't kill. Where is she? Where is she?
Why'd you say that name? Martha! Which, check out my other spoiler on Batman vs Superman to hear about Martha.
No, it's funny because Alfred is Alfred in this movie, but Samuel L. Jackson is not Samuel Jackson in this movie. He couldn't be anything further from.
Which I guess then the next biggest, because we've hit on the 3 of the 4, the next biggest would be Harry. And Harry, to me, was the exact same actor that he always is. He's always a gentleman. He's always suave. He's always got class. When he played the King of England in the King's Speech, like, he just always comes off like that.
Yeah, but both characters had an exception. Like, being a gentleman, the opposite of that would be murdering all those people.
A ruffian.
Well, that's true.
And then the opposite of the weak character would him shooting Harry in the face after saying a cool line that was very Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
I just wish he would have ended it with motherfucker or something.
Something.
Like, just he's dying, they're like,
yeah. Well, because that was cool, though, because at the end, when Samuel L. Jackson dies, it, like, you see Egbert, or whatever his name is, he says some line, and Sam's like, perfect.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he dies. Like, he's still commenting on his own
Say
death.
my cool line for me.
Yeah.
Say it. Yeah, you know.
I liked Harry. He was probably my favorite character.
I liked Harry's hair. It's just perfect. Just perfectly coiffed. I don't know. That's all I remember of him.
I don't know when something is coiffed versus some other form of styling.
Pomaded. I don't know. It's just a gel. No, coiffed I think just refers to the idea of it being rolled over.
So my hair would be coiffed.
Yes, it's quite coiffed, and
This is a good chat, guys.
it's important.
Okay?
It's important to the plot of
this is called hair spoiler alerts, where we discuss the hair of every movie.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
So
write it down.
Okay. So any other characters you guys wanted to comment on?
What about Giselle? Or not Giselle.
Gazelle, whatever, you know.
Giraffe?
Yeah.
Giraffe.
Geronimo.
Geronimo, our transtibial amputee with switchblades for legs.
Yeah, very good henchman.
Okay.
Extremely racially ambiguous.
Yes. Yeah.
Was she?
I want to learn how she learned.
She's Southern Pacific, like.
I want to learn
the legs.
why she
so cool.
decided to get those.
Well, it's like Odd Job from James Bond. He had the hat. They could throw.
And there's that other guy with
Jaws.
Metal teeth.
Yeah, Jaws.
Cut through a cable.
Yeah. So I don't know. I took a little bit of. I'm a medical professional. I take issue with some of these things.
As a PT.
No, but okay. In the opening scene when she backflips, slices that guy in half.
Exactly.
You know how much force you'd have to apply to cleave someone from head all the way to toe?
Cutting someone in the head
it wouldn't happen. And it wouldn't happen cleanly, and the guy would have bled profusely had it done.
And they just put a white towel.
They put a white towel. There's no blood smears at all.
Two white towels.
Oh, is that too graphic for you guys? It's fine that you cleave him in half.
How did she have... Because she had the white towels.
She brought them with her.
She brought them with her. So she's like... Oh,
she was prepared for the blood.
People are dying downstairs. Hold on. I'm going to get a towel.
Well, he came from
outside. And
outside.
now I'm downstairs.
No, I don't know. I thought it was funny. She's got these, razor blades for legs, which...
But she had the right amount of towels, including...
The exact right amount.
Including enough for the guy who was split in half.
She planned what she was going to do.
Yeah. Does she have one for each half?
Very well.
She did. Good henchman.
Yeah. She did. So I just mean is I guess that maybe she's just got really good foresight.
Well, she knew how many guards there were, and she knew she cut the guy in half.
Maybe she just knew that they were all really shitty guards, and she's like, they're all gonna die. It could be a 2-year-old with a gun. They're all gonna die, so I'm gonna bring enough towels for them, and then I'll kill his last guy.
I just like the fight scene that her and Eggsy have at the end, and, they're both, flying towards each other, about to falcon punch each other, and he pulls his punch and slices her in the arm with his
he's sort
poisoned...
of, wimpily, sort of...
Well, he pulled his punch back and turned into the kick.
Which the knife in the shoe is from James Bond as well.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they also mentioned the phone in the shoe, which I thought was from... what's that? It's not a serious spy movie. Get Smart.
Oh,
where he has a phone in the shoe.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I thought it was from that, but it's probably from something else.
Yeah.
I'm thinking... I kind of want to... Maybe I'm extrapolating, but she was basically doing some almost Brazilian style fighting at the end. She was doing break dancing kind of style fighting. Yeah. She was just constantly spinning and flipping her legs, and she reminded me of a video game character, Eddie Gordo, for any of you Tekken fans out there. Literally just whipping her feet around.
Always break dancing, spinning.
Right, cool. That's how I like to fight people too.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it showed how strong she was. It showed the guy taking out everyone in the room, the secret agent guy. Was it Lancelot? I think it was.
That was the old Lancelot.
Okay, and then it shows him taking out everyone.
Yeah,
easily. He has a glass in his hand at the end. All casually, and she does the exact same thing to him.
Yeah.
So it just shows that she's a really strong villain. And she can take out anyone. It's cool.
Did she say a single line in the whole film?
She did.
Yeah,
she did. She had a few lines.
Oh yeah, she said something.
Not yet. Because
at one point,
you stay here.
Yeah, and she was said something you got to see this, and I remember at one point she's says something you stay here or whatever. So okay.
Well, because Valentine was are they all dead yet? They're all dead, right? And she's like, no, not yet. He's still alive. Or
you got to come over here and see this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I remember at one point, the one thing I did notice, which they didn't do anything else that actually really made you think this, was at one point Valentine slaps her on the butt, And, like, she kind of, like, giggles. Like,
it's to infer that they had, like,
a
relationship.
Yeah. It just, that was the only, I just thought it was funny that they only did that one scene. Maybe. Maybe that's, like, the office joke, you know? Like, when you're a billionaire, you can just sexually harass your, you know, deadly assassin.
We don't condone sexual harassment. I'm just putting a statement out there.
So, okay, because I think we're approaching 2 hours. So, we'll kind of fire through the next couple things. So, I think we all kind of touched on it a little bit, but the sound I thought was really good. I really liked the music choice in this movie. It's definitely... me and Alex have been watching a few movies and TV shows, and we've noticed that the music choice is just garbage in a few of them. And I think this one was really, really good.
Yeah, they synchronized the music with the fight scenes.
I thought, it was not only that they synchronized the music, they made the music, ironically very classy. Yeah. Like, it was very, there was a Frank Sinatra song at one point, you know, that added to the element for me because, you know,
they showed the calm celebration music while everyone was getting, you know, slaughtered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was just, it kind of had this cool element of, like, it was like a contrasting element to it, you know, that it wasn't just this epic action music. It was very controlled and contained, which I thought was very, very well done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and onto the plot, we've all kind of touched on it, but Zach was talking about how it is very formulaic. I guess, what did you guys think, though, in general about the plot and as well as the plausibility that the plot was based in for the whole film?
Well, as far as the plausibility goes, like you said, there was a few things that probably would not have happened in real life. As far as a spy movie goes, it was exactly what it needed to be. And I thought it was perfect for the movie.
No.
In terms of, like, the plot being realistic?
Oh, how did you just feel about the plot as a whole? Like, I mean, just with where they went with it all. Did you think it was too silly? Did you think it was... I know you...
Pretty far-fetched.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then also we watched, right before we did this whole thing, we watched the trailer for the next film. And I guess just what are your guys' opinions on it? I know that was a few hours ago now.
Can I talk about...
They blow up the base! They blow up the fortress!
They say that right away. That better not be the ending of the movie.
I don't...
The trailer setting the scene for the next movie?
Yeah, for the third movie.
A preview within a preview.
Yeah.
What if it's, though, like a movie where they show you it blow up right at the beginning?
But really, it's not blowing up.
Right? No. Like, it blows up right at the beginning, and then it's like 3 weeks earlier.
Oh, so they Tarantino it? They work
the very end of the film, and you realize everyone he's ever loved, like his sister, his mom, his dog,
they're all
his cousin.
Not his dog.
His dog, yeah.
Not the dog,
the suit that he got. They're all in the base, and they blow up.
No, so my thought with that was... It obviously isn't seen then as a spoiler to the movie. It's seen as a very direct, like, this is what's going to happen. Expect this to happen. We're going to give you more to work with, you know. So,
I want to know if they discuss how many people have died in the last movie then, and this movie that we just watched. Because we discussed how many people really did die.
Yeah. Or if they're just gonna like glaze
or
over
like the
it.
fallout, like the actual implications of the fallout.
You know, yeah, like the actual
eyes.
like like why are we starting off with their like home base exploding? Like, why is that important? Well, I want to know how many people died last time.
There's something funny to be said that like the phones are going to be the downfall of society with all of us, you know, being
literally
in our phones anyways. You know.
Never trust free SIM cards.
I
I know, and then that movie wasn't that long ago, but I was like, SIM cards? Like, SIM cards seem
SIM cards are so 2005. Come on.
The comic. Maybe it's from the comic, though.
Yeah, they do, but it just feels... it feels like an outdated technology already, and it wasn't even that long ago.
I mean, you know, and the rule is, you know, if you're not the paying customer, you like if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So that's what they should have known.
What?
If you're getting the rule is if you
where are you getting these rules from?
Like for Facebook,
the internet,
Facebook. If you're not paying, you don't pay for Facebook.
Yeah.
So Facebook uses every bit of data that you use to sell to people.
Dang.
Not getting into conspiracy theories, but that's just the rule.
There's something very similar that happens to this in a video game. It's like exactly the same, where everyone gets free stuff, really it backfires and they all end up killing each other. I thought Deus Ex.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly the same. I thought they copied that.
The trailer.
But it's from the same. It's from the same time.
I definitely think the plot wasn't for the previous one was definitely not super new and original. It wasn't anything groundbreaking.
I just can't imagine you being able to talk all these people into getting an implant. I just
Well, if you say it's free.
Yeah,
then
but
enough
I can't imagine
people,
you being able to talk
and
Obama, the president of the United States.
For free. Can I implant something in you?
No, they didn't say that.
It may or may not explode.
I know.
Like, you may or may not have a
But she was talking about getting all of these head people, these VIPs.
But if they say it'll protect you against, the mind thing.
Basically zombie
I guess if they tell you it protects you against the murder fest that's going to happen.
Exactly. They know what's going to happen.
I don't know. I still wouldn't trust someone to put something in my head.
If you didn't trust them, we would lock them up. That's why there's so many jail cells.
Another medical issue. I really didn't like where they put the implant. There's a lot of vital nerves and arterial supplies in there.
Well, it was just right under the skin. They showed you that.
Yeah, but
still,
nick an artery.
I just don't understand how a little microchip would make your whole head explode. Your head's relatively thick.
He said it got
heat up your soft tissue.
Yeah, it looked like
soft tissue.
But if it's right on the outside, it'd burn out.
But it also wouldn't just it wouldn't explode. It'd burn.
I know. That's why it was goofy and amazing and awesome.
But remember, you can also chop someone in half with your leg if you put a knife on it.
Perfectly.
And also, a lighter is a grenade and. There's also some poison
that'll turn you immediately green.
There's a poison that can be electronically activated, which I have a lot of issues with that. But anyway, so back to the trailer for the next film. The one other thing that was of note was that we see that Harry somehow survived a gunshot to the eye, and or
he got a bad paper cut and he maybe got accidentally shot somewhere else. You don't know. I mean, possibly when you don't look at the person you're shooting, it's hard to hit the target.
He was looking, and then he turned away.
Yeah, he looked, but that's what I mean. Is he pulled the gun out and went, and maybe when he did that, maybe Harry started turning, and it grazed his eye.
Because we didn't see
and then
Harry on the ground either.
Yeah.
Or maybe that shot of Harry's a backstory shot.
Draft girl didn't, really look at him.
Yeah.
She didn't, really take a good look.
She didn't really make sure he was dead.
Yeah, she's like... Is he dead?
And also, we did determine that apparently in this universe, nobody bleeds. So maybe she just is like...
Yeah.
Except when there's an implant in your head.
No. They puff up into color.
That's true, yeah.
Because remember, there's all the dead bodies outside. When
it's a color run.
When he was going to Princess Town, and there was not blood everywhere.
Because remember, there was like a blood puff whenever you
but it was a puff. It wasn't like...
ketchup packet of puff.
They were all wearing white. There was no blood on any of these white soldiers' outfits.
That's true. Yeah.
So long story short, we want better names. We want more blood.
Yes.
And we want to know why Harry's
I just want more color run. I don't care about blood. More color run.
You want more color run?
Yeah, I don't care about the blood. I'm going to fireworks.
So
I would like that sound effect, though. Really.
Every single one. All right, so... To kind of wrap up, we're going to go into the, your rating. So we're going to explain the rating so everyone can understand. So I rate on a scale of 1 to 10, but the tipping point is a 6 or a 7. And the reason is anything above a 7 is something that you definitely would watch again. Anything below a 6 is something that, you might, but you're not going to go get the DVD and watch it. Ooh, so we'll go from 7 is you'd watch it again. It was a good film. So typically what I do is I do it based off the Tracked rating. So we'll put up on Tracked because I think Tracked does a really good job of describing it. So to me it makes it easier if you think about the word than it is to think about it as a thing. So give me a moment.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, it's Ben's words.
Got it.
This is the movie spoiler channel.
It's my channel.
Hey, I started off questioning the grammar of this. I'm going to end with the same thing.
Everyone really likes my transitions. While waiting for it to load.
Well, I got my score.
So a 7 is a good. So you'd say this is a good film. I definitely would watch this again. 8 is a great film. in the sense that you would be like, yes, you know what, I like this film. I think it's actually a good example of like good movies. It's good cinematography. It's got good plot. Blah blah blah. 9 is like, this is an excellent movie. This is one of the best movies I've seen.
It should be said louder. It's an excellent movie.
Yeah, I'm sure the microphone heard me.
And then the last would be a 10, which is totally ninja. In the sense that, like, you're just like, this is so awesome. I could talk for hours about this. I'm going to get the figurines. I'm going to go to McDonald's and get the kids' toys.
Like Geely. Geely would be...
You could say
I've not seen that movie,
Happy Meal.
What is a 6?
So a 6 is I'm trying to get to that part where...
So we actually have, like, qualifiers to these numbers?
Yes.
He says a Happy Meal.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
I got what you were saying.
What special sauce were they referring to?
Okay, so here we go.
I want to know. Is this Big Mac? The Big Mac one?
References to special sauce.
No, I think they were talking about the Big Mac.
There was
Thousand Island.
They said the Big Mac, and he said secret sauce. I don't know
secret
about
sauce.
Secret sauce is Big Mac sauce.
Yeah, that's what
It's just Thousand Island, right?
I think it's just
They mentioned
what's
secret
in
sauce twice, and
Yeah,
both times had different.
Well, that's what
I
I'm
see
saying.
what
I think
you're
I've
saying.
heard it called secret sauce. I don't know. So anyway, a 6 is fair. So to me, a fair is like, it's good. If it was on TV again, I'd watch it and I wouldn't be upset. But I'm never going to, like, put it on again. 5 is meh. Like, if somebody put it, like, if I was somewhere and someone else put it on, whatever. Like, I might watch it. I'll probably have my phone out the whole time. Then we start getting into the bad rating. So 4 is poor, where it's like
3 is me, 2 is you.
No.
Oh.
So 4 is poor, like, as in the sense, like, you know, like, if somebody else put it on, I kind of would be a little, like, 3 is bad. Like, this is a bad movie. I'd actually kind of be a little upset with you if you put this on. Like, we're probably not friends anymore. 2 is terrible, where it's like, this is a garbage film. And 1 is weak sauce, frowny face. And that's like, this whole film is garbage, and all you can think about is how much you hate every moment of this film. Like the movie
Is
Lucy.
there a 0?
No.
Like the movie Lucy.
1 is the lowest. That's weak sauce. So weak sauce is the lowest. Totally Ninja is the highest. So
why ninjas though? Why ninjas so special?
Because Totally Samurai sounds weird, which I feel like that was a TV show. Was it a TV show?
Totally Samurai.
It sounds like a Power Rangers series.
Totally Spies. Anyway,
no, I think you're right.
Totally Spies was 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go around. We're going to go in reverse direction. So, Alex, on a scale of 1 to 10, with my goofy scale.
I know, this is tough for me.
If you want to look at the scale, you can look at the scale.
Gotta make sure
you know, I think I have to go with a 7, though. I rate a lot of movies 7, just because it's good. Like, when people ask me, what do you think of the movie? And I go, it's good. Like, it's a good movie.
Sure.
Like, I just go with that word a lot.
Just let it go.
But for me, like I said, it's a good movie for its genre, and so I don't feel like I could go any lower than that for it, because it's a good movie. I wouldn't say, like, don't watch it, because it's good. Yeah. So.
And Dylan, do you need to look at the list?
Easily a 9.
9?
Ooh,
wow.
Massive.
Yeah.
Going down the 9.
I would not buy action figures, I don't think, though.
Okay.
So it's not Totally Ninja.
But this would be like a movie you'd say, like, if people are saying, like, what are some of the greatest films of all time? You wouldn't say it's the greatest, but you say it's, like, close to the greatest.
It's close. Oh,
okay.
Definitely.
All right. And then Zach?
Ooh, I want a paper too.
Ooh.
I wrote a 7.
7.
7 on a whole. Kind of for the same reason. You know, I give a very annotated, it was good. But if you ask me to talk about any of the elements, I'm going to have more to say that's either going to raise that score or lower it. So if you ask me to tell them about, like, the plot, I'd be like, 6. But if you ask me to ask about the action, I'll say, like, an 8. Mm-hmm. Because I thought that was really clever. Some of just the style that they shot that movie in. And so, you know, I'm going to err cautiously and just say a 7.
Okay. See, for me, I'd probably be at, like, a 6.5-ish, which I know.
Well, it's got to be an even number, right?
Yeah, which I guess if you were to round it up, I'd say a 7. But it's like it's
even
low
number.
of a 7, like it just scooted in. Because, like, to me,
I feel like that's how I get rated. Like when people, like when we talk about our friends, like you're like a I think a soft 7.
I think
like
that's
just gently.
Am I
overestimating?
I'm
being polite. Oh, screw you, Ben.
2-3-7.
Oh, perfect.
But the reason is because, like, for comparison, like, I have, like, I would say, like, Rogue One is an 8. And there's so many more things I can talk about.
What would be
Rogue
10,
One? I mean, 10 for me is, like, Interstellar. It's, like, I've got a list, and it's not that long when it comes to the 10s. But, so that's why I couldn't put, like, that high up. And, like, there's definitely some Bond films that I think are better than this, like, Casino Royale. That I only rank as, like, an 8. And I don't even think it's close to Casino Royale. But I definitely liked it. I definitely would probably watch it again. Whether I would actually put it on or if it'd just be, like, something that popped up on TV would be why I put it on. But, like, I definitely liked it. I like the characters a lot more watching it the second time around. And I would be interested in seeing the next film. However, I'm not, like, as excited enough where I'm like, I have to go day one to be in line for the movie. Whereas, like, Rogue One, even though it was really late at night, I'm like, I gotta go home and watch A New Hope. So just for, like, a comparison, which is, like, that was the one that I ranked one higher, I didn't get that feeling from this movie.
I'll just say, like, I don't feel necessarily compelled to watch it a second time with the effort of gaining more from it. I feel like I've gained everything I could from it, and I'm just one of those people. I rarely rewatch movies anyways, and you know, anything probably above an 8 would probably be something I would rewatch. But this one, I feel like I could. The moment I turn on, I'd be like, oh yeah, this, and this happens. You know, I can kind of paint the picture just as easily as I could any other time.
All right. Any final comments? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it down because it's getting very late.
Firstborn child named Eggsy. Absolutely.
It's going to be the most popular name of 2019.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So with that, thank you for watching. And, you know, remember to like, favorite, subscribe. It really helps us out. And check out the other spoilers that we got on our channel. We just recently hit 1,000, or over 1,000. I think we're up to 1025 last I looked, and we're almost at 250,000 views, so that's all very exciting. And keep it off.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.